Well, it's 4 o'clock. You know what time it is. It is time to hear something good. And I'm so excited and proud to have my friend Eddie Dikes join us today. You know, this format is all about sharing good stuff. There's plenty of places you can go to hear all of the negative. This is not going to be one of them. So I'm excited to hear about the state of retail. I'm excited to hear the state of jewelry and what's going on. And I have this smiling, fantastic friend of mine, Eddie Dikes, to join us. Eddie, it's your chance to tell us something good.
I'll tell you, well, retail is actually, it's doing pretty well. Believe it or not, after the pandemic, I guess everybody was uh, 3 months in isolation. And I have a lot of couples coming in and they'll just say, you know what, let's get something really nice because I've been putting up with you for basically 3 years. So they're coming in and they're just saying, we're not taking that cruise, we're not taking that vacation that we're going to take, and that vacation was going to be $25,000, and they come in and they're just spending it here in the store instead.
So are people coming in physically, or are they using the website? Because I know you did major changes to your website, and it's really user friendly. So what's the state of how people are buying it?
So what they're doing, they're going on our website. They're basically by appointment. They're getting appointments on the website, and then from there, they're actually coming in by appointment, basically. But also, they're just walking in and physically coming to the store and purchasing, because we're very high end. So it's really hard to purchase that online. We have some other things that are online that, basically in that $500 to $2,000 range. And we do well with that. But anything over that, when somebody's spending $5, $7, $10, $15, $20, $30, $50,000, they're coming in, to make that significant purchase. They want to see the item, they want to touch the item. So they're coming into our store here in Weston. They're coming into the store in the Hard Rock. Hard Rock is just a completely different animal. That's just masses of people. Before the pandemic, I mean, we were figuring there was about 7,000 people coming into the Hard Rock on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday per night. It was crazy. Their masses were incredible. Of course, it's not like that now because they're kind of restricting the amount of people coming in. But that was just masses. Here in Weston, it's a whole different thing. It's more, people coming in and knowing us, through all the years. We've been here now for 20 years. And we have relationships with most people, as we do with you, of course, and we've known you for many years. And they come in and they make that purchase because of the trust factor they have with us. And they make those significant purchases. But we've seen a big uptick in sales since we've opened now. It's so funny because what I've seen also is a big uptick in engagement ring sales. So that's happened too. So we're up about 70% in engagement ring sales over last year, which is a great sign. That is something great. People are getting engaged. People. They're coming in for engagement rings, they're coming in for wedding bands. Unfortunately, with the wedding band, a lot of people can't get married, can't have their weddings. But what they're doing, they're just having smaller weddings in their parents' backyard or whatever it is, in smaller venues. But we're selling them the bands, their Diamond Eternity bands. But it's incredible, and people are coming in and upgrading their diamond they had before for a bigger one. So it's a great thing. That just shows you that there's love out there, which is a great thing, and we have to always think positive.
I love that. I mean, for the sake of my audience, you own 2 retail locations called Weston Jewelers. I'm a fan and have been for many years, having lived in Weston. But you hit on a point that I really want to drill down to. I always felt, dealing with you, that I had a friend in the business. And one of the things I teach in all of my coaching, and one of the things I'm attracted to, is when I can feel that trust with somebody, that I go, hey, listen, I don't really know one from another. And you legitimately directed me based on what I wanted to spend, what I wanted the outcome to be. So knowing that, how do you transfer that in an online world? What have you guys? Because I know you have experts. The people that
Yes.
work for you are fun, are fantastic. How do you transfer that trust that you're easily develop face to face to an online world, which is a big part of the business now?
What we're doing is we're actually selling a lot of the big brand names, online now.
Okay.
So that develops that trust factor also, because to carry these brand names, these big manufacturers and vendors have trust in us. So people can, from that, they realize that, especially on a national level, because a lot, we're known here in Weston and in South Florida, but on a national level, where we're trying to hit the audience that we're trying to hit now, it's a whole different thing. They don't know who we are. So we basically have our story there to tell them what we're all about, and that we're in business for 20 years, and we carry the major brands like Rolex, Cartier, Bulgari, Chopard, all these magnificent brands that have entrusted those brands in us. So people should trust us as well.
Love it. So, obviously people talk about the state of the economy and the state of retail, but you have an exciting development that your son joined the business. And I know firsthand how amazing that could be. Mark took over as president April 1st of all days. So talk to us about what it's like having your son decide to join the business. You and I talked a little bit before about, leaving New York in February, which is
No, I
crazy.
know.
So,
So it's crazy. So Jesse, he went to IU, graduates from IU, and then I sent him. We decided to send him over to GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America, and that's based in New York, and they have another one in Carlsbad, California. Well, he ended up in New York. The summer before he graduated, he went for the diamond course, and then last year, he ended up going to for the actual graduate gemology course, which is really pretty difficult, Anyway, so he took the course. He graduates January 31st. I pick him up. So we decided that he's going to come back down here, and we pick him up February 10th from New York. We had a Gucci function up there, and everything was great and dandy. February was an incredible month for retail. The beginning of the year, everybody was on fire,
And it's Valentine's Day too.
And it's Valentine's Day. And it was a great month. It was unbelievable. And I'm just like, wow, this is great. So February 10th, we pick him up. He's on the plane with us, I remember. And he said, that coronavirus thing, there was one case in New York. And he looks at me and goes, Dad, I think that this is going to be a problem here in New York. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. They're probably, and, I kind of like swore it off, like, but he was right. Anyway, so he comes down here, and the poor guy so the end of February comes along, the beginning of March comes along, and all of a sudden they're talking about, possibly closing down businesses and all this, and the virus is spreading, and New York is a disaster. And next thing we know, we have to close down Weston Jewelers in Weston. It was probably about March 15th, I believe it was. And then 2 or 3 days later, Hard Rock closes down as well. So my poor son sees the best of the business world, of the jewelry business, literally in, 14 weeks or something like that. He sees the best of the jewelry business and the worst of the jewelry business. But you know what? It's a great thing, because you know what? When you see it, you have a downturn, you have to know how to. I gave him the book and I said, here, read this book, Move My Cheese.
I love it. Good.
And I gave him that book and I said, read this and read it over, read it like 3 times so you understand what it's all about. And this is what we have to do here. We have to, go online. We have to really push this thing. So we did all kinds of things. We even did all kinds of Instagram. We did an Instagram actually live show with Allure, which is a brand that we carry, which was used to be Philippe Chariot, and now they're Allure. And so out of California, the owner of Allure actually went online live and sold product on Instagram for us, and it was just amazing that the amount of hits that we got was incredible. Hundreds of people going online and looking at this, and I'm like, wow, this is great. So we've been working on that in a huge way since then. We're working, stepping up our, Google AdWords, of pushing people towards that website, as hard as we can. And it's been,
which is really cool because, 6 months prior, people weren't even thinking of changing. And one of the things about, Move My Cheese is when you get stuck and you get comfortable and things are good, there's no innovation. This has pushed people to do things that they wouldn't have normally done. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, you know what? This is really cool. We're reaching people all over the country, all over the world. That was not the focus when you've got two retail stores that are jamming. So if you're able to pivot, and this is why I do this show, is you look at guys like you look at your son and you say, well, what's possible? Okay, they shut us down. What's next? And so I love hearing that. This is really the reason why I do the show.
So it's pretty amazing because we were getting all these hits on our website and actual sales, and it was just sales coming from all over, national, from Ohio, from California, from all over, and I'm thinking, wow, this is incredible, And I was coming to the store and grabbing the items and wrapping them all up, and then we've established where the actual manufacturer, some of the manufacturers are actually just drop shipping for us now. So this has continued, and of course the growth is continuing as well. I come from that 1980s, you walk in the store, I show you something, you pay for it, and you're out the door, and and of course, most of these people are my friends anyway, so, I give them a big hug, hey, what's going on? I know all about their lives, and now all of a sudden I know nothing about this person, I have to try to get all the information I can via email and it's just incredible. It's a whole different process. And I'm a verbal type of guy. So here I am now emailing and texting, and it's a whole different world now.
I love it. But you adapt. So one of the conversations I want to have, in our final segment here is that, everybody knows that gold is the standard. You hear people talk about, the gold standard. That's, whether it's in jewelry or in business, when you refer to somebody, that's the gold standard. So you and I had a brief conversation about the state of gold, and I would love for you to share with my audience what's happening with gold, some of the innovation that you talked about where people are taking old and turning it into new. I love what's going on.
It's crazy. Well, right now, as we're speaking, gold is past the $2,000 mark at $2,057 an ounce, which is never been. The most it ever went up was to $1,900 in one day in 2009. So this is it. This is at its peak right now. Where is it going? I don't know. It all depends on our global situation. I think a lot of people also are speculating on gold as well. So that's what's forced this to go up. So people are selling their gold now. So they're coming in and they have scrap gold from there, or just gold pieces that they'll never wear from, grandmother, great grandmother, that's just been sitting around in their drawers. And of course, during this pandemic, they have all this stuff. They've been looking at all this stuff because they're cleaning out their drawers and saying, hey, what am I going to do with this? And I've had people come in and they think they have something that's costume jewelry. And I go, no, this is real. And well, what's it worth? And I put it on the scale and I said, you have $3,300 here. They're like, what? I was going to throw it away, So they have no idea what they have. And what they're doing also is taking like their grandmother's pieces, and we're taking them and redoing them, into something that's wearable, because, back then, there's all these big chunky pieces that people really don't wear now. So we're taking that, we're redoing it, we're taking, and if there's diamonds that are in it, we're just taking the diamonds out and reusing them. Doing it, of course, a lot of people like to wear the white gold. Now rose gold is really hot now as well. So we're reforming everything. People are, they'll take pieces that, like a lot of brooches, that people had from New York in the 50s and 60s. They wore these beautiful brooches. We take them apart, we make these beautiful necklaces and earrings and all these things out of them. So they're able to use these things all over again, which is a great thing.
So I want to make sure that the audience knows that that's really one of your specialties, is designing stuff And so, there's no better trust or bigger trust, if you will, than giving something that you don't think is value and you turn it into value, man. That is really, really super cool. So
We do it all in house also, which is great too.
Which is unbelievable. I think I remember back when I did something like that with you. And wouldn't you know that I told Michelle that you were going to be on the show today. And so you and I have to talk offline, of course, because for that same reason, she's been putting up with me for 6 months. She had me on the road. Life was good for her. Now I'm here every day. But in our final minute, if you would, what is the last something good you want to share with people? You shared a bunch of great stuff. One major takeaway, something about you, your wife, your son, anything to take us home.
The great thing, well, right now I have my daughter's in town, my son is here, and my wife, of course, so the whole family right now is in town. And that doesn't happen too often because my daughter's up in Savannah, Georgia. She's with NBC up there.
I love it.
Anchor up there. Anyway, so they're all in town, which is a great thing for me. That's the best thing, having the family with me. And I also do something really neat. We on Sundays we do our social distancing with my mother-in-law, my father as well, and we have brunch outside, and probably almost every Sunday, which is a great thing because they're cooped up inside. They're in their 80s, and my father's in his late 80s, 89, and he's like, I got to get out of the house. So it's something that we always look forward to every single Sunday.
Good for you. I mean, that is an unbelievable way to take us home. I shared on social media that family tradition, of having the family together, there's nothing like it. We did it recently. I don't get to do it every Sunday because Jake's not around and Michelle's son is working in Dallas for FC Dallas. But when you can do it, you do it with your parents, is nothing better. So I am totally grateful for your friendship, for sharing some really, really good news, showing people that there is.
Being so supportive. I really thank you.
You're the best, man. So I will be in touch with you because I got to get my lady something, as I hope my entire audience knows that they can. So thanks, and you stay on the ball, my friend.
You as well. Thank you.